Have you ever felt caught in the relentless cycle of struggle? Convinced that fate has dealt you a cruel hand? Imagine living on the fringes of society, battling for every morsel, only to find even that meager sustenance mysteriously disappearing. What if a seemingly insignificant encounter could reveal a profound truth about your destiny, compelling you on a quest that would not only transform your own life but unexpectedly touch the lives of others? Unlocking hidden treasures and unforeseen miracles? Today, we journey into a timeless Buddhist parable that transcends the ordinary. A tale of a homeless man whose desperate search for answers leads him to confront not just his own perceived misfortune, but the deeply intertwined destinies of others. This is a story about selflessness, the interconnectedness of all beings, and the astonishing way that true generosity can bring about the most unexpected and abundant rewards. Prepare to witness how compassion, when acted upon, can turn the wheel of fortune in the most astonishing ways, proving that the good you do in the world will inevitably find its way back to you. The Mouse's Revelation, a destiny questioned. Our story begins with a homeless man, a figure often overlooked by the bustling world, whose daily existence was a relentless struggle to gather enough food to survive. Each day, he would meticulously collect whatever scraps he could find. Yet, to his dismay, he kept noticing his meager provisions mysteriously vanishing. Frustration, a constant companion in his difficult life, simmered within him. Determined to uncover the culprit, he laid a trap, and one day, to his surprise, he caught the tiny thief, a nimble mouse. "Oh, you mouse," the homeless man exclaimed, a mix of exasperation and weariness in his voice. "Why are you stealing my food? I'm a homeless man, struggling just like you. Go steal from the richer people, they won't even notice it. What little I have, you take." But the mouse, surprisingly, spoke, and its words carried a chilling revelation that would shatter the man's perception of his own life. "Because it is in your destiny to steal from you," the mouse squeaked, its tiny voice imbued with an uncanny wisdom. "What? Why?" the man stammered, utterly bewildered. "Because it is in your destiny that you can only have 8 items in your possession. No matter how much you beg, no matter how much you gather, that's all you'll ever be able to have." The homeless man was utterly shocked and heartbroken. His life was hard enough, but to hear that fate itself had cursed him to eternal scarcity, who would want to have such hard luck? "Oh, why is that my destiny?" Desperate for answers, he pressed the mouse. "How do you know this? And how can I change it?" The mouse simply replied, "I don't know that. You should try and ask the Buddha. Maybe he'll know." This seemingly fantastical encounter sets the stage for a profound spiritual quest. The homeless man, burdened by his perceived destiny, embarks on a journey to find the Buddha, the awakened one, hoping to unlock the secrets of his unfortunate fate. Buddhist insight. This opening establishes the theme of dukkha, suffering, the suffering of poverty, scarcity, and perceived bad karma. The Mouse's Revelation introduces the concept of karma and destiny, which in Buddhism are not fixed and unchangeable fate, but rather the consequences of past actions and mental volitions. However, the homeless man's understanding of destiny is still limited and fatalistic. His quest to find the Buddha reflects the inherent human yearning for truth and liberation from suffering. A journey driven by saddha, faith, and viriya, effort. The dialogue with the mouse, a humble creature, hints that wisdom can come from unexpected sources, challenging conventional notions of knowledge. A journey of encounters, unburdening others' karma. The homeless man began his arduous journey to find the Buddha. He traveled the whole day, his hope flickering but persistent. As dusk settled, he found himself, tired and sleepy, at the opulent estate of a wealthy family. He decided to seek shelter there for the night. He went to knock on their grand door. "Good sir," he humbly requested, "it's getting dark, and I'm new here. Can I spend the night here, please?" The wealthy man, surprisingly compassionate, welcomed him. "Okay, come on in." As the beggar entered the house, the man asked, "Young man, why and where are you traveling so late?" "Oh," the homeless man replied, "I have a question for the Buddha, and I'm going to meet him." Just then, the rich man's wife arrived. Hearing their conversation, her eyes widened with hope. "Can we give you a question to ask the Buddha?" she eagerly inquired. "Oh, okay, I guess I can ask on your behalf." The homeless man, now burdened with an extra task, Agreed. What's your question, ma'am? We have a 16-year-old daughter who can't speak, she said, her voice filled with a mother's sorrow. We just want to ask, what do we have to do to have her speak? The homeless man assured them he would ask their question. The next morning, the homeless man thanked them for their shelter and continued his journey. Soon, he faced his next daunting obstacle, a vast sea of mountains that stretched endlessly before him. Oh, Lord, how do I cross this now? He despaired. As he began to climb one towering peak, he unexpectedly met a wizard, a being of immense power. Dear sir, the homeless man implored, can you help me cross this sea of mountains? The wizard, sensing his sincerity, agreed. Hop on my staff, he said. The beggar hopped on the wizard's staff and sat behind him. The wizard used his staff to take the young man and himself, flying them swiftly across the formidable sea of mountains, high above the clouds. As they flew, the wizard, curious about the homeless man's destination, asked, where are you going? Why are you deciding to cross these mountains? I am going to meet and ask the Buddha a question about my destiny. The homeless man explained. Oh, really? The wizard's eyes gleamed with renewed hope. Can I please give you a question to ask the Buddha? I've been trying to go to heaven for 1,000 years. According to my teaching, I should be able to go to heaven now. Can you please ask the Buddha, what do I have to do to get to heaven? Of course, the homeless man replied, now with 2 additional burdens. I'll ask your question for you. After the wizard dropped him off, the homeless man continued his journey. He soon ran into his last obstacle, a wild, untamed river that he could not possibly cross on his own. Oh boy, now how do I cross this wild, winding river? He sighed. Luckily, he met a giant turtle, ancient and wise, who decided to take him across the river on its massive shell. As they were crossing the river, the turtle, sensing the man's purpose, asked, where are you going? I'm going to see the Buddha, and I'm going to ask him a question about my destiny. The man responded, would you please ask a question for me? The turtle inquired. Sure, what is it? The turtle explained, I've been trying to become a dragon for 500 years. According to my teaching, I should have become a dragon by now. Can you please ask the Buddha, what do I have to do to become a dragon? Thank you, turtle, for taking me across the river. The homeless man said gratefully. You are welcome, the turtle replied, and don't forget my question. Of course not, the homeless man assured him, now carrying 3 additional questions, all seemingly impossible to answer. I'll ask your question for you. Buddhist insight. This sequence of encounters is rich with symbolism and directly relates to the Buddhist concept of interconnectedness, praticca and karma. The homeless man, despite his own suffering, willingly accepts the burdens, questions, of others. This act of selflessness and compassion, karuna, even before meeting the Buddha, already begins to subtly shift his karma. Each character represents a different form of stuckness or desire, highlighting the pervasive nature of tanha, craving beyond human form. The mute girl represents suffering due to physical limitation and the parents' craving for their child's normalcy. The wizard represents attachment to spiritual achievement, going to heaven, and potentially rigid adherence to past practices, perhaps hindering true liberation. His 1,000 years signify long-term spiritual striving without ultimate success. The turtle represents a lower form of existence desiring a higher one, but potentially bound by its own attachments or lack of understanding. His 500 years signify immense effort without transformation. These encounters demonstrate that suffering and striving are universal, not just limited to human experience, and that true solutions often require looking beyond conventional understanding. The homeless man's willingness to help others, despite his own desperate need, is an act of dana, generosity, laying the groundwork for his own eventual blessings. The Buddha's wisdom, 3 questions, 4 answers. The homeless man continued his journey, driven by his own question and the 3 burdens he now carried for others. Finally, he reached the monastery where the great Buddha resided. He stood in front of the monastery, took a deep breath, and thought, oh, here I am, finally meeting the great Buddha. He walked in, spirited and excited, ready to ask his questions. As he entered and bowed before the Buddha, he said, please accept my good wishes. Buddha, I have traveled from faraway lands to ask you some questions. Can I please? The Buddha, with his calm and knowing gaze, replied, sure, you can. But I will answer 3 questions for you only. Only 3 questions? The young man was shocked. He had 4 questions in total, his own, and the 3 he had promised to others. But I have 4. What do I do? He was faced with a profound dilemma. He had to choose. He thought carefully, weighing each question. He thought about the turtle, who had been living for 500 years, tirelessly trying to become a dragon. What a hard life he must be leading in that deep river. He mused, feeling a pang of sympathy. Then he thought about the wizard, who had been striving for 1,000 years, unable to reach heaven. Oh, 1,000 years is a long time. He thought, he deserves to go to heaven now. At last, he thought about the young girl, who was going to live her whole life being unable to speak. A silent existence. Oh, life without speaking is cruel. He acknowledged, his heart softening. And then, he looked at himself. I'm just a homeless beggar. He thought, I can just go back home and continue begging. I am used to it. Nothing will change for me. But for them, the turtle, the wizard, the young girl, everything can change if they get the answers. As he looked at everybody else's profound problems, his own problems suddenly seemed so small, so insignificant in comparison. He felt a deep sense of sorrow and compassion for the turtle, the wizard, and the young girl. And so, in an act of profound selflessness, he decided to ask all their questions, forsaking his own. The Buddha, with a gentle smile, as expected, answered all 3 questions, knowing the young man's choice. For the turtle is unwilling to leave the shell. As long as he is unwilling to leave the comfort of his shell, he will never become a dragon. For the wizard always carries his staff and never puts it down. It acts as an anchor, keeping him from heaven. For the girl, as for the girl, she'll be able to speak when she meets her soulmate. Thank you, O great Buddha, the homeless man said, bowing deeply, carrying the answers back. Buddhist insight. This is the pivotal moment of the story, highlighting the transformative power of selflessness, anatta, and compassion, karuna. The Buddha's seemingly arbitrary limit of 3 questions is a skillful means, upaya, designed to force the homeless man into an ethical dilemma, revealing his true nature. By choosing to prioritize the suffering of others over his own immediate concerns, the homeless man performs an act of profound dana, generosity, transcending his own ego-driven desires. This act of compassion fundamentally shifts his karma. His own problem becoming small, in comparison, reflects a shift in right view. Sama Diti, seeing the interconnectedness of suffering and the importance of collective well-being over individual gain. The Buddha's answers are also symbolic. The turtle's shell represents attachment to comfort zones, old habits, or perceived security that prevents growth and transformation. The wizard's staff symbolizes attachment to methods, practices, or even spiritual achievements themselves, which can become a burden if not let go of at the right time. True liberation requires letting go of all attachments, even to the path itself. The mute girl's soulmate suggests that some conditions resolve through unexpected connections or the natural unfolding of destiny, karma ripening. Often when one ceases to strive for a specific outcome, this speaks to the wisdom of acceptance and trusting the flow of life. The journey home. The rewards of selflessness and interconnectedness. The homeless man, his heart now lighter and filled with a quiet joy, began his journey back home, carrying the precious answers. He reunited with the turtle at the river. Did you ask? The turtle eagerly inquired. Oh yes, the homeless man replied. You just have to take off your shell, and then you become a dragon. The turtle, understanding, then shed its massive shell, and inside the shell were priceless pearls, glowing with an otherworldly luster, found only in the deepest parts of the ocean. The now transformed dragon gave them to the homeless man. Here, you have them. It's my thank you. I no longer need this because I'm now a dragon. With a magnificent roar, the dragon ascended into the sky, its scales shimmering. Thank you, kind man, it boomed, soaring into the heavens. The homeless man continued his journey, now carrying the valuable pearls. He reunited with the wizard on top of a mountain. You just have to put down your staff, and you'll be able to go to heaven. The homeless man relayed the Buddha's words. Really? The wizard gasped, astonished. That's what Buddha said, the man affirmed. So the wizard, trusting the Buddha's wisdom, let go of his staff, giving it to the young man. "Thank you," he said, and with a serene smile, ascended to heaven, bathed in a soft, golden light. "Very well, young man, be good." The young man now possessed immense wealth from the turtle's pearls and profound spiritual power from the wizard's staff. He returned to the wealthy family's estate that had given him shelter. They were overjoyed to see him back, expecting an answer for their daughter. The great Buddha said, the homeless man announced, "Your daughter would be able to speak when she meets her soulmate." And at that very moment, as if fate itself had orchestrated it, the daughter came downstairs. Her eyes met the homeless man's. A gasp escaped her lips. And then, to her parents' utter shock and boundless joy, she spoke, her voice clear and resonant for the very first time. "Hey, is that the man that was here last week?" The young girl and her parents were stunned. They looked at the homeless man, truly seeing him for the first time, not as a beggar, but as someone radiating an inner light. He was the girl's soulmate. The parents, overjoyed, immediately arranged their wedding. They lived happily ever after, their lives transformed by the unexpected kindness of a humble man. Buddhist insight. This ending beautifully illustrates the karmic principle of what goes around comes around, the idea that wholesome actions lead to wholesome results, and generosity leads to abundance. The homeless man, by acting selflessly and prioritizing others' suffering, inadvertently created positive karma for himself. Each reward is directly symbolic. Pearls from the turtle symbolize the hidden treasures, wisdom, merit, found when one lets go of attachments, the shell of comfort. His act of giving up his own question allowed him to unearth these treasures. The wizard's staff, power, represents the liberation and spiritual power gained when one lets go of rigid adherence to methods or spiritual clinging. The staff is an anchor. The mute girl speaking and finding her soulmate represents the harmonious unfolding of destiny and the resolution of long-standing difficulties when one acts with pure intention and selflessness. The homeless man's act of compassion directly facilitated her karmic ripening. The story culminates in the homeless man finding not just relief from his destiny of 8 items, but boundless wealth and true happiness, precisely because he transcended his personal desire through compassion. This exemplifies the Buddhist teaching that true liberation and fulfillment are found not through seeking personal gain, but through selfless action and the cessation of craving. Conclusion. The ripple effect of compassion, your legacy of light. The timeless parable of the homeless man's quest is more than just an enchanting narrative. It's a profound, living testament to the transformative power of selflessness, compassion, and the interconnectedness of all existence. It challenges our conventional understanding of destiny and reward, urging us to look beyond immediate gain and embrace the profound wisdom of giving. Key learnings and their ripple effect. Destiny is fluid, not fixed. The mouse's initial revelation of 8 items represents a limited, materialistic view of destiny. The Buddha's wisdom and the man's actions prove that karma, while influenced by past deeds, is not immutable. Your choices in the present moment, especially acts of selflessness, anatta, and right intention, samma sankappa, can profoundly alter your future. You are not a prisoner of fate, but the architect of your destiny. The power of selfless compassion, karuna, the homeless man, in his own moment of desperation, chose to prioritize the suffering of others over his own. This radical act of dana, generosity, when performed with a pure heart, creates immense positive karma. Personal reflection. Think about moments when you've put someone else's needs before your own. How did that make you feel? Did unexpected good fortune follow? Often, the greatest joy comes from giving without expectation. Letting go of attachments leads to unforeseen rewards. Each character in the story, the turtle's shell, the wizard's staff, represents an attachment that prevents growth. The Buddha's answers reveal that by letting go of perceived comforts or rigid practices, true transformation and hidden treasures are unveiled. Practical application. What shells are you clinging to in your life? Old habits, rigid beliefs, fear of change? What staffs are you holding onto that might be anchoring you to a limited reality? Courageously letting go can open doors to new possibilities and abundance you never imagined. Interconnectedness, praticya samutpada. The man's journey beautifully illustrates that every act of kindness creates a ripple effect. His selfless choice for others directly resulted in the fulfillment of his own destiny. We are all intricately connected in the web of existence. Your wholesome actions directly benefit others, and in turn, indirectly benefit you. Daily practice. Recognize that your actions, big or small, impact the world. A simple act of compassion or generosity can set off a chain reaction of positivity, returning to you in unexpected ways. The true meaning of abundance. The homeless man sought relief from scarcity, but found boundless wealth, love, and a fulfilling life, precisely because he transcended his initial, limited desire for 8 items. True abundance isn't just about material possessions, it's about inner peace, meaningful connections, and the joy of contributing. So, remember, my friends, the profound truth illuminated by the Buddha: all the good you do in the world will come back to you. It may not be in the form you expect, or at the time you anticipate, but the universe, operating on the principles of karma and interconnectedness, will always respond to the genuine compassion and selflessness you offer. Your every act of kindness is a seed planted, destined to blossom into unforeseen blessings. Thank you for watching, and may you always carry the profound peace and illuminating wisdom of these stories within your heart. Join our growing community by liking this video and subscribing to Buddha Story, where ancient wisdom beautifully meets modern mindfulness. What act of selflessness has brought unexpected rewards into your life? Share your reflections and experiences in the comments below. Until our next encounter, may your path be filled with profound peace, deep understanding, and the radiant light of your own awakening.